beautiful stars, you beloved ancient beings of love and light, you shining, shining star. I apologize, I'm a couple minutes late. It happens. In regards to that, hello, happy summer is here. Yay. Um, Everyone, I do know the weather is going a bit nutty everywhere. I do. I'm getting reports all over the place. Please do not be alarmed. Please do not. This is the flippy floppy of the poles that we talk about here at Stars of the Morning Light. It happens. It happens every cycle. Cycle is not a timeline. There's multiple timelines within cycles. We've been in many cycles, and the flippy floppy of the poles happens. Gaia does what she needs to do. Oh. So, please do not be alarmed. I do have friends who have lost a good majority of their crops, many things. So, my heart goes out to everyone. So I am Courtney, host of Stars of the Morning Light. Normally I am live at 11 on Friday mornings, Eastern Standard Time, for Hermetics, the Emerald Tablets. We are still in what I started a very long time ago, and that is lesson 1, which is the main one, with many parts to it. Back when I first started this, I had no clue how YouTube worked. And I didn't even know what a playlist was. I didn't really know what a thumbnail was. None of that, which was only a year and a half ago. Oh my goodness. So I have been going through and changing things up and trying to make things look a little bit more presentable. These lessons here, though, the Hermetic stuff, there's a little bit of a mixture to them. But I was starting from the last principle, the last Hermetic principle, and working our way forward. And like I said, that was back when I didn't even know you could turn your camera sideways and it would get you a full screen. I really didn't know any of this stuff. And good morning, Miss Seeker. I say hello to everyone in the chat too if I can, because I'm always live. I'm usually always live. Hence the lack of computer knowledge. But either way, I'm here, I'm doing my thing, so I'm trying to clean up this YouTube a little bit and, make it a little bit more presentable. The information for these lessons, though, are in different playlists, and it will all say lesson 1, all is mind, for the most part. Right now there's 3 different playlists, because clearly there's been a lot said. They would be under like Hermetic teachings, which at the beginning I was pulling from many sources, many different sources. Now I'm just strictly trying to stay in the Corpus Hermetica or other books. We are at the all. We went through transmutation last week, which is interesting because the card we pulled out was alchemy. We'll look at it in a moment. And Seeker just said my new look looks good. Yeah, I'm trying to get to it. And today we have a lot to cover, and I have an appointment here in a little bit. So I'm going to do as much as I can because there's so much to cover. Last week we talked transmutation, and I got some good emails, some good responses, because of my lack of accepting, I guess you would say, the generalized, just change your thoughts and, you're healed, right? That's transmutation. I find you can go back and listen to my argument against that. Somebody sent me actually a picture of like a Harry Potter scene of like the transmutation class, and they were like, I see what you're talking about, Courtney. Oh, it's funny. Today though, we start the all. So we're trying to get to all is mind. So if all is mind, we have to represent and find out what is the all. If all is mind, then what is the all? Right? This is why I started with the last principle of hermetics and worked our way back, because they start with all is mind, the all. And you very much have to um, grasp everything else to really grasp that. I apologize, my phone is going off. Today, Fridays are usually kind of crazy days for me, and today in particular is kind of a little crazy, but that's fine. I saw you, Coke Queen. Good to see you, my dear. So, the card we did pull, though, is Alchemy. Now, this is an amazing card. I might have to try to turn my light a little bit so you guys can see it a bit better. There we go. Shine some light on things. Number 8, Alchemy. The frequency of alchemy activates our magical ability and remembrance of the magic that we all hold inside. Each one of us has the potential to access the ancient knowledge that allowed the true alchemist to perform the miracles of transmutation. This card should have been out last week. The true miracles of transmutation. Oh, look at all those beautiful pyramids. Look at it. They have pyramids in there, kind of like the Star of David, linking up with some other stuff. This is beautiful. This is the sacred geometry of alchemy. See, number 8, alchemy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If anybody is local in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area, this Sunday I will be teaching a long workshop, and part of it is the power of pyramids, in-person workshop. So also those of you that are here, because of this, my schedule keeps getting filled up, which is beautiful and great. I'm grateful. But I keep realizing it's overlapping when I'm normally here. So I will most likely do the weekly message Monday, most likely. I also am lining up interviews for this channel, which I love the interviews. So I will not be here Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, you beautiful stars, because I will be teaching in person. And part of that in person, which you guys can find the link on my website if you're local. You can find the link on Facebook at SML. That is my Reiki 7D course. There's a lot that goes on in that class to entice higher dimensional thinking. And part of it is the power of a pyramid, which I will eventually, that might be what I do here in August, live here for folks. So we are in talking about the all. We finally at least got to the all. We haven't even got to all is mind. And it was great. I love all those out there who seek. I really do. I love everyone who seeks. And do know that this summer, your seeking can become your knowledge, your knowing. It is very accessible to tap into your true star, ancient mastery presence, your essence that is ancient, and know, just know. We don't have to continue to seek. I love those that do. What is interesting to me, are the people that are seeking the truth. And that's part of today's lesson. I also adore them. They bring me great entertainment, and they're great, lovely people. Those who seek the truth. I happened to be able to pop into Ryder Lee's live program yesterday, Raised by Giants. I adore that kid. He's such a great guy. Unfortunately, he is still not monetized here, even though he's putting out great programs. So if anything, try to go support him, even with comments, likes, buy him a coffee for $5 type thing. Um, Same goes for me here. I am not monetized, clearly. Um, and the summer gets a little rough. What Ryder, myself, and other people do in this arena, we are extracurricular. I should say, we are extracurricular stuff. So when people are taking vacations or people are exploring their selves and doing things family wise in the summer, it gets rough for those that are our income is extracurricular. So if you care to support this channel, my PayPal link is below. I would appreciate a donation. But what I love about Ryder is that he is so desperately seeking the truth. So desperately seeking the truth. And here on this earth plane, there is no absolute truth. There is no truth really at all. It doesn't work that way. And that's a part of today's discussion about the all. Um, it's it's every time when I hear someone talk about it, I'm like, oh, keep seeking. You're not gonna find it. And then when you realize you're not gonna find it, you found it. You know, it's so much fun here. It's so much fun on this Earth School. I am going to hang out in the Corpus Hermetica, and there is a lot to cover, folks. There's so much to cover today. I hope everyone is well on this happy Friday. Yes, it is Friday. Joyous day. I will have to be kind of watching my time because I do have an appointment later. But let us begin. So we are all today's show, probably the next show right before the holiday weekend here in the United States, we'll all be covering, well, all will be covering the all. Many of the shows will be covering the all in various different ways because, well, it's a very broad topic now, isn't it? So I am in the Corpus Hermetica, page 19 at the bottom. He's talking to his son Tate. Tate is, writing everything down, right? I have held this book up before so people can see. It's not easily translated when I read because it is written, it's kind of dialogue form. So if you read old plays or if you do read Plato and whatnot, it's read more like that. So it's not as easy to translate reading wise to screen. If you were to read it to yourself, it flows differently. So we are at the bottom of page 119. He replied, "But there is nothing true upon the earth. But there is nothing true upon the earth." Tate asked again, "How then is this true, that we do not know anything true? How can that be done here?" Good question, right? So if I say, I often say there is no absolute truth here. There is no truth here upon the earth. Well, then you could rebuttal with, well, then isn't that true, right? Or what about our own truths, which is 2 weeks ago, the Akashic was saying, hey, you need to acknowledge what your truth is. Deep down in your core, acknowledge it. Because there's really going to only be fundamentally 2 or 3 of them, right? Same as for us humans, the majority of us say what we want, what all humans deserve and desire is respect, love, and care, whatever that care may be, if it's our needs are being met type thing, right? That's fundamental to us humans. That's what we all see and feel and want. But then that is the question then, true, isn't it? Then then we do not know anything true. How can that be done here? So we don't know any truth. We don't know any truth. I have so much fun with this. O son, truth is the most perfect virtue and the highest good itself, not troubled by matter, not encompassed by a body, naked, clear, unchangeable, vulnerable, unalterable good. But the things that are here, O son, are visible, incapable of good, corruptible, destructible, subtle, changeable, that's why this doesn't read as well over screen. Continually altered and made of another. The things, therefore, that are not true to themselves, how can they be true? So Hermes is saying everything here is corruptible, destructible. It's got subtle changes. It can change. It's made of another. It's continually altered. The things, therefore, that are not true to themselves, how can they be true? For everything that is altered is a lie, not abiding in what is, but being changed, it shrews us always, other and other appearances. Te ask, is not man true, O Father? So he's saying, and we all know this just from life. Who you were in your 20s, you definitely should not be the same person in your 40s. Who you are in your 40s, you're probably not going to be the same person in your 60s. We change. We alter. Our bodies alter. Our opinions and thoughts alter. What we see alters. I have to tell you, this is, yesterday, Jamie Gray from Blue Sun Fusion Studio, somewhat of my business partner. I love doing business with Jamie. She's the one that I choose in this area. We went to a venue yesterday, and it was a rainy day. It's like a pavilion kind of outdoor venue for another New Earth Energy Market charity event that we'll be doing for one of her charities that she does. And we're driving up and we're looking at the outside before we get out of the car, and we both mentioned this door. Like, oh, I wonder if that door's locked. Okay, we both mentioned the door. We're both seeing a door. By the time we parked and we're looking at everything, we walked over, and Jamie even turned to me and said, well, that door's probably locked to actually get into like the overcap of the what the venue would actually look like if we could walk in, the pavilion. There was no door. There was absolutely no door. We started walking up, and Jamie walks up the steps and goes, there ain't no door. And I just stopped, and I was like, you saw a door, right? Both of us saw a door from the car, from even outside the car. We were expecting a door. We were expecting it to probably be locked. There's not even a door. I mean, there was a door frame. There was no door. I said, you saw a big brown door, right? She said, yeah. So, to Jamie and I, before we fully walked up, and she even slowly walked into the entrance. Before we even fully walked in, we both saw a door. And I turned to her and I said, well, I turned to her and I said, well, sister, that's because we're in 5D. Maybe in the future there'll be a door. And she just started laughing. Change, perception. How is there any truth? How is it? Because in that moment, to Jamie and I, there was a door. That's why we took a very long time looking at the outside of everything, because we assumed we wouldn't be able to get in, because we both saw a door. There was no door. For us in that moment, that was our truth. We literally walked around all sorts of stuff thinking we weren't going to be able to get in. There was no door. So our truth, even in that moment, changed. Because what we saw didn't exist. Fascinating, right? Maybe put that into a more broader sense. So we're going to continue. The things, therefore, that are not true to themselves, how can they be true? For everything that is altered is a lie, not biding in what is, but being changed, it shrews us always, other and other appearances. Other and other appearances. Tate asked, is not man true, O Father? As far forth as man is man, he is not true, O Son. For that which is true has of itself alone its constitution, and remains and abides according to itself, such as it is. But man consists of many things, and does not abide of himself, but is turned and changed, age after age, idea after idea, from form after form, and this while he is yet in the tabernacle of his body. And many have not known their own children after a little while, and many children likewise have not known their parents. Is it then possible, O Tate, that he who is so changed as is not to be known should be true? No, on the contrary, he is a falsehood, being in many appearances of change. But understand the truth to be that which abides the same is eternal, but man is not ever thus. Therefore he is also not true. But man is certain appearance, and appearance is the highest lie. Wow. Okay. So we all say, then, change over time, change is inevitable, right? Because that's what we know on this earth plane. And we are man. We change for the good. We change not for the good. We change because change is for us, right? I'm going to go back and read something real quick. As far forth as he is a man, he is not true, O Son. For that which is true has of itself alone its constitution, and remains and abides according to itself, such as it is. It is as you are. As we're going to keep learning about the all, and then all is mind. Your constitution that remains, abiding according to itself, it is such as it is. And all of this is as you are. And the flip side of the coin is, and appearance is the highest lie. Tate asked, but these eternal bodies, O Father, are they not true, though they be changed? Everything that is begun, or made, and changed is not true, but being made by our proper progenitor, they might have had true matter formerly. Progenitor talks about the regeneration, creation. I guess I never said this before. When they use the word like generator in here, it's talking about creation. It's talking about that aspect of the Father, because they will reference God as Father in this. And that's what they're talking about. So at some point, they might have had true matter formerly. At some point, you beautiful beings, at some point, you were a part of the true. At some point, you were uncorruptible. Sometime formerly, your matter was unaltered. But these also have in themselves something that is false in regard to their change. For nothing that remains not in itself is true. I'm going to keep going. Tate asked, what shall one say then, O Father, that only the Sun, S-U-N, which besides the nature of other things is not changed, but abides in itself is true? Here's a leap of consciousness that people might not catch. You beautiful stars. You burning lights. You little baby suns. That's right, you little baby suns. This is where people don't catch it. So Hermes just said, right, that at some point, formally, your matter was true. Then, but these also have in themselves something that is false in regard to their change. Okay, so we just learned if we're changing, if things are changing, right, especially from appearance, because what we see, right, sight causes creation, right? For nothing that remains not in itself is true. Okay, right in that line though, we can say change is also true. It's as we talked in all of these Hermetic principles, the swiftness of energy, the swiftness of air, as they would say, the vibrations at different degrees, right? That creates form. Everything is energy, so therefore, someone that is tangible, I can touch my crystal right here, right? This was created from some degree of vibration. I am created from some degree of vibration. You are created from some degree of vibration. And vibrations, internally, externally, all around, change to different degrees. We know this more so by like our human emotions. One day we can just be really down, really down. Another day, whoa, my vibrations are up. We resonate with it by emotions, because that is very unique to us. You know, the human free will, the emotions. This is why so many ascended masters talked greatly about the human emotions. Hands down. because that is what distincts us from so many things, and it's what also keeps us in the 3D density. Very much so, right? And I'm not saying emotions are bad. That's not what I'm saying. It's that because of the ebb and flow, the rhythm, right, which is a principle of hermetics, the rhythm of our own emotions, and emotions attached to also the all of the human race, it, we know change that way. So, change, quote unquote, is actually true. It's a part of laws. It's part of all of the laws. It really is. Change is true, right? So that's cool, but that is a cosmic occurrence. That is a law. Some refer to it as universal laws. I don't refer to it as universal laws anymore because, well, step outside of our universe. You'll see. They also will operate there. Um, those are laws. So, just for the fact that we do change, we change our bodies, minds, opinions, thoughts, emotions. We are actually transmuting all the time by sight and creating, but what have you. That was the last episode. That in itself, though, is true, right? For nothing that remains not in itself is true. So that's cool, right? Then Tate, this is where people get lost right here. Then Tate jumps straight to the sun. S-U-N. Okay? Tate asked, "What shall one say then, O Father? That only the sun, S-U-N, which besides the nature of other things is not changed, but abides in itself is true?" I'm going to continue. "It is truth, and therefore is he only entrusted with the workmanship of the world, ruling and making all things, whom I do both honor and adore his truth. And after the one, the first, I acknowledged him the workman." So hold on. He was answering and he kept referring to the sun as him. So the sun that does not change, and I know everybody in the watching is going, yeah, it's bursting all over the place. It's changing. From what? Seriously, it's changing to us, who doesn't remember the last change. Just remember. Just remember. It's doing what it ought to. The planet is doing what it ought to. This is not anything new. It's just new to us, or it feels that way, because we don't remember our beautiful star selves. Us as suns, S-U-N. And we acknowledge the S-U-N as the workman, as the one that really produces the life and the change here. Tate asked, "What therefore do you affirm to be the first truth, O Father?" "The one and only, O Tate, that is not of matter, that is not in a body, that is without color, without figure or shape, immutable, unalterable, which always is, but falsehood, O Son, is corrupted. And corruption has laid hold upon all things on earth, and the providence of truth encompasses and will encompass them. For without corruption there can not, for without corruption, there can no generation exist. For corruption follows every generation, that it may again be generated. Okay, so we jumped again. We're talking about the sun, uncorruptible, the grand workman of the all, the cosmic father, the grand source. The sun, S-U-N, is the grand workman, okay, the grand creator, the grand source, the grand everything of the highest of high, right? And it is unchangeable. Like I said, everybody thinks it's changing now because of all the sunbursts. This has been seen over and over and over again. So it's just doing what it does. It's due time. But the earth and corruption has laid hold upon all things on earth. And the providence of truth encompasses and will encompass them. The providence of truth does encompass and will encompass them. For without corruption, there can no generation consist. So they go into then, it takes corruption, falsehood, the ever-changing corruption, to actually have us regenerate, to generate again, to create anew. To, you could call that make more babies or not make more babies. You could call it, it takes corruption to, the whole invention out of necessity. Well, necessity is just another word for corruption, really, because we don't lack anything. Right. So anything that we generate again, can come out of corruption. So it's not necessarily bad. It's not necessarily bad. There is no actually bad or good, For those things that are generated must of necessity be generated of those things that are corrupted. And the things generated must needs be corrupted, that the generation of beings may not end. Acknowledge, therefore, the first workman by the generation of things. Consequently, the things that are generated of corruption are false, as being sometimes one thing, sometimes another. For it is impossible they should be made the same things again. And that which is not the same, how is it true? Therefore, O son, we must call these things fancies or appearances. I'm going to keep going because there is a point to what I'm reading here. And if we will give a man his right name, we must call him the appearance of man, and a child the fancy or appearance of a child, an old man the fancy or appearance of an old man, a young man the appearance of a young man, a man of ripe age the appearance of a man of a ripe age. For neither is a man, nor a child, nor a young man, nor an old man, but the things that are pre-existent and that are being changed are false. These things understand thus, O son, as these false operations, having their dependence from above, even of the truth itself. Which being so, I do affirm that falsehood is the work of truth. Everybody take a minute. Whoa. Okay. So we need necessity, we need corruption to regenerate, to generate again, to change the appearance and fancies of everything. I mean, we literally see this constantly. I'm at that age now that all the young kids that I'm seeing are actually dressing exactly how I did in the 90s. And so I'm at that age of like, whoa. That's the age I'm at now, of everybody's dressing the way I did. So it does throw you off. Any of the older generation here, they understand what I'm talking about of, whoa, yeah, teenager, you're not the first to dress like that. Hence, everything goes around about every 30 years, right? And so for those that are now witnessing their turn of that every 30 years, it's like, oh, awesome. I'm that, I've changed that much. My appearance, my opinions, which is great. I love getting older. It's just, we see it. That's the representation. We literally see just the same stuff being recycled over and over again in falsehood and appearance, right? So when we say a man, a young man's a young man, that's false. When we say a child is a child, that's false too. When we say he's an old man, that's false as well. Because for how long? For when? And what time frame? Kind of like how Jamie and I saw a door. I don't know if any of you experienced this, but I don't speak to children like children. I was raised not to do that, and so oftentimes I don't even see children. I see who they're gonna be as young adults and adults. I visibly see it because I'm not stuck in some kind of time frame of this child is 5 years old. You see what I'm saying? Or even vice versa. You can see maybe a loved one when you're looking at them, grandma, grandpa, even your partner, spouse, as you're getting older. You can sit there and you can visibly go, wow, that's what they looked like when they were 16, right? We're capable of doing that because we know of the change. We know that the little man, the little child, the young adult, the aged man, and the older man, they're all in the same being. So we can all do that. We all understand this concept. So this is all falsehood because it's done by fancies and appearance. I want to reread something though because it gets lost. These things understood thus, O son, as these false operations. So all that we see that changes, so therefore there is no real truth here on this plane, having their dependence from above, even of the truth itself. As above, so below. As below, so above. We are the middle ground. So even though we have our dependence, even though in a lot of ways we get the permission to change it up, right? In a lot of ways. This is also how you manifest, by the way. So it's not always bad. If you don't like what's going on, change it up, right? Because that's how you can manifest. You just change it. Because we are a part of this system that even as above, even being part of the source itself, creation itself, the beautiful star, sun, S-U-N that you are, even of the truth itself. Which being so, I do affirm. So this is affirm. He's telling, that's a big word, by the way. That falsehood is the work of the truth. This goes back into, and it's been discussed, and I'm going to probably go into it again, that in all things, even in the corruption, because we need it for generation, to regenerate, to generate again, to create anew, even in that, it is based under an ideal of the Creator. Even in all of it, there is a little bit of truth, but we're not going to see it because of the fancies and the appearance. The truth is, change can happen. The truth is, stars, you beautiful suns, SUNs, are just as grand as the grand workmen. Going back just for a moment. It might have been on the last page. There we go. And then I'm going to move to another page. So on the previous page from that, this section ends on page 123, and it ends with, which being so, I do affirm that falsehood is the work of the truth. So change can occur. Go back to this. The previous page, 39. And corruption has laid hold upon all things on earth. And the providence of truth encompasses and will encompass them. We just can't see it. We can't see our own workmanship. We can't see because we are surrounded by all the falsehoods that are fancy and done by appearance. And we also, like I said, because our emotions are changing all the time, that's how we relate to so many things, is our human emotions, that we don't recognize that providence, the above, that is really giving us a lot of permission to be this way, is also a part of all this, is here. We don't see it. And if we don't see it, then we believe that that's more false than the stuff that we see. It's so fascinating. So fascinating what we do. I'm going to go to page, so we had started in that section at the page of 119 and went to page 123. I am now going to 108. 108, please get me there. 108. 108. Oh, I'm going back to 39 as well. Man, my number's 39 if anybody wanted to know that, and we just read number 39 in that section. Now we're starting in 39. I really do like the number 39. Anyways, it is my number. It's a part of the time I was born. It was in like every locker or lock combination in my life. It was in every work that I ever did that I needed a code or an ID number to. That number is very present in my life. I guess it's not a good number in Japan though. I don't know. So, page 108, 39. Therefore, God is the Father of the world, but the world is father of the things in the world. And the world is the Son of God, but things in the world are the sons of the world. And therefore, it is well called the world. That is an ornament because it adorns and beautifies all things with the variety of generation and the limitless power of life, with the tirelessness of operation and the swiftness of necessity, with the mingling of elements and the order of things done. We have read this section before, but think of it in the context that we just went through. That everything is falsehood here upon this earth, especially because it is designed, created in fancy and appearance. So God the Father, source, however you want to put it, right? God is the Father of the world. But the world, our little earth plane, our little earth existence, the world is Father of the things in the world. So all upon the world, us, also nature, all the energies that are upon the earth, right, is actually all of it on the earth is actually the Father of the earth. So like source, great God, whatever you want to call it. I don't get hold up on names. The ultimate, whatever. Father over all this, watching, going, whoa. What's going on down there? All this falsehood. Wait until Providence encompasses everyone. You know, use it, watching us use what we got, because we are all stars and suns and we create. Clearly we create because we are the Father of what goes on here. Right? And the world is the Son of God, but things in the world are the sons of the world. And therefore it is well called world. That is an ornament. So the word world, I think, means ornament. I mean, seriously, that would make sense to me. Like maybe we're just an ornament, like how we hang on our Christmas trees in the cosmos. Maybe they're like, look at that shiny ornament over there. Wouldn't that be funny? Anyways, I have a good time here, by the way. It is well called the world. That is an ornament, because it adorns and beautifies all things with the variety of generation. So we do have the power to beautify all things in the variety of generation. When we recreate, when we generate again, in the varieties that we do, we can make things beautiful. And limitless power of life. Yeah, man. Limitless power of life. That's the world. That's the world. The world. With the tireless of operation and the swiftness of necessity, with the mingling of elements and the order of all things done. So, do we just learn that we actually create and regenerate out of necessity, which necessity is corruption? Because we're all thinking we're lacking all the time. So is it all that bad? Really not. Really not, because there's truth in that change and there's truth in the regeneration. We are gifted that. We're gifted that we can make everything beautiful if we want. Because we are over the world that is a beautiful ornament if we would like it to be. Therefore, it is necessarily and properly called the world. Awesome. For in all living things, both the sense and the understanding comes into them from without, inspired by that which surrounds them and provides for them. And the world receiving it once from God has, as soon as it was made, has it still whatever it once had. I'm going to end on this section, or I'm going to end this, and then we're going to read one more part. Hear me out. Hear me out. We regenerate, we change, which is great, because, anybody can start doing that anytime. You beautiful stars, you wonderful suns, SUNs. We can all start doing that to change the appearance for the world, right? We can all start doing that, because it's that wonderful gift we have. For in all living things, both the sense and the understanding. So your senses are the 5 that we know. Your 6 could also be this understanding, your knowing, right? So taste, touch, feel, all of your senses. And the understanding of those senses, the understanding that when I hold this crystal, can I feel it? Yes. But if I wanted to manipulate it, I could. If I wanted to change it, I could. If I wanted to transmute it, I could. We learned that all in the last video. Because that's my understanding, which is really more your 6th sense. For in all living things, both the senses and the understanding comes into them from without. I have all these gifts, all these senses, all this understanding, all this knowing is coming from without. Hold on. Inspired by that which surrounds them and provides for them. So my limits to my senses, to my understanding, and I'm going to use the word limits, or even, I guess, expansion, if you start seeing it in that way, which I do, comes from me, from what the fancies and the appearances, the falsehoods are telling me. That's why I say limits. And the world receiving it once from God, as soon as it was made, has it still, whatever it once had. So the moment the earth was made, and we were given the workmanship over this, and we made it the most beautiful ornament, the most adoring and beautiful, and this place is so great, as it's still whatever it once had. That is still in us. That is still in us. Just because what we touch, feel, sense, know now is based on the fancies and the appearance of all the falsehood, the OG, the original, the very beginning, before any corruption, is still in us. Let's jump back again. Let's jump back again to where we just came from. To where we just came from. I hope everybody's kind of following this. I'm going back. I'll just start at 39 again on page 121. And corruption has laid a hold upon all things of the earth. And the providence of the truth encompasses and will encompass them all. For without corruption there can no generation coexist. For corruption follows every generation, that it may again be generated. For those things that are generated must of a necessity be generated of those things that are corrupted, and the things generated must needs be corrupted, and the generation of things beings may not end. So we've just been corrupted for a long time. So we would regenerate. So we could go through the cycles, go through the changes. Which being so, I do affirm that falsehood is the work of the truth. That providence. That the world receiving it once from God, as soon as it was made, has it still whatever it once had. I'm going to now jump to page 49. You most powerful, ultimate stars, suns, beings, you beautiful, what you once had. We already covered it today, that the truth was you in a matter formally long ago, at the beginning that most people can't remember, because there's been many cycles, and within those cycles thousands and thousands and thousands of timeline changes. So how are you supposed to remember when we're full of fancy appearances that hold our senses and our understanding via corruption? How are we supposed to do this? I'm on page 49. For you are what I am. You are what I do. You are what I say. You are all things, and there is nothing else you are not. You are you. All that is made, and all that is not made. The mind that understands. The Father that makes and frames. The good that works. The good that does all things. Of the matter, the most subtle and slender is air. Of the air, the soul. Of the soul, the mind. Of the mind, God. Of the matter, the most subtle and slender is air. Of the air, the soul. Of the soul, the mind. Of the mind, God. We covered a lot of that in the last one. And as we continue in the all explanation, because I am going to have to go here in a moment, we will come to understand even further how mighty and powerful SUN stars we are, and that we are creating constantly, individually and collectively. So I will end with, it is as you are. You are as I am. I am as you are. It is as you are. It is as I am. It is. So I love you guys so deeply. I am going to have to go because I have an appointment soon and it's a little bit of a drive away. So I will be here next Friday. Once again, if you are able to, I would appreciate a donation via PayPal because summer's rough on us folks that are the extracurricular for people. My PayPal link is in the About section because I don't have a description here yet. Also, have a great weekend. If you're local, I will be teaching a full workshop on Sunday at Blue Sun Fusion Studio, where I also will be discussing the power of pyramids, which I will probably do a series on that here in August. Because I will be gone on Sunday, I will not be live here at 2. I will most likely do that live show either Saturday or Monday. I haven't decided yet. I am trying to book people for more interviews. And thanks for being here. If you're new here, it's a great community. Consider joining us on Patreon, either $5 or $8 a month. I stay cheap so you can succeed. I mean, that's really what I try to do in life. But we learn a lot of great stuff there, and we're working on utilizing the power of a pyramid now for all sorts of ventures in life. So, you beautiful stars, you glowing balls of light. Oh, you are so magnificent. You really are. Truly, truly, truly. As you travel through your weekend, possibly, notice all the fancies and appearances that are attached to your senses, neither good nor bad. But then we can start working out of that in expansion, right? Because right now we're just limited to that when we need to grow as the beautiful lights that we are. So that will be one of the main focuses. I love you all dearly. Have a great weekend. Jackie J, I saw you came in. Beloved, I saw you came into the chat. Thank you all so much. Peace out, guys. Have a great weekend. Later.